Hello, BookTube. Life is miserable and full of pain. Not only did the Houston Texans lose last night in their season opener, but Delany is HOH. Sorry for the spoiler alert. If Tyler leaves, I think I might be done with the season. Welcome to Weekly Reads. I've had a very busy and very mixed and somewhat weird reading week. So on Saturday, I read A Midsummer Night's Dream in this big Bevington omnibus of Shakespeare's work. I don't know what's wrong with me. I read last week Titus Andronicus, and I didn't particularly care for it, even though I loved it a long time ago, the last time I read it. And this time with the Midsummer Night's Dream, wasn't interested. I didn't really care. It didn't connect with me. I thought it was overwrought. And it's frustrating because now I'm not the most passionate idolatrous of a Shakespeare fan. I'm considerably more critical of him. There are like the four great tragedies: Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, Richard III, and The Tempest that I really do like, or at least as far as The Tempest is concerned in performance. Or adaptation. The Derek Jarman version is amazing, and the Julie Taymor version is amazing. And of course, the Laurence Olivier and Ian McKellen Richard III's are amazing. So anyway, but I wasn't feeling it. And I don't know if it's just impatience or I'm just in a really, really critically vicious mood right now. Then I'm just not really enjoying a whole lot of what I'm reading. So after Midsummer Night's Dream, I went and started the Fated Sun Trilogy by C.J. Cherryh for Space Opera September. And I got about 3 chapters in, and I just didn't care for the writing style, the characterization. I was like thinking to myself, do I really want to spend a week on this when I'm not enjoying it? And so I bailed. And since I still had a lot of time on Saturday, I decided to go ahead and read some more comics on the Kindle Unlimited. So I read Scott Pilgrim's Little Life, the first volume in the Scott Pilgrim series by Brian Lee O'Malley. Now, the Scott Pilgrim series you can properly call graphic novels because they were published as themselves rather than as individual floppy comic books that are then collected. And I have been wanting to read the Scott Pilgrim series for ages, since they first came out, really. And I never got around to it. I did watch the movie years ago. Haven't watched it in years though. And I really quite enjoyed Scott Pilgrim's Little Life. It's about a 22-year-old Canadian who's dating a high school student and in a band. When he meets this mysterious young woman named Ramona Flowers and begins to date her while still dating his high school girlfriend. And in order to date Ramona, he has to fight and defeat her 7 evil exes. And it's a very sort of video game influenced world, and I really enjoyed it. Although I did think Scott's personality at times is a bit trying, and Ramona is a bit... She has her moments of, I think, that she's... I don't know, it's maybe... I need to read more, but I get the impression she's not the easiest person to be friends with. But anyway, I mean, I'll probably, if I can, continue on with the series. And I also read Volume 2 of Locke and Key by Joe Hill with art by Gabriel Rodriguez, and I'm really enjoying it. I found Volume 2 quite enjoyable, and Gabriel Rodriguez's art is growing on me, so I quite enjoyed it. So on Sunday, I debated with myself whether to read any more of the Space Opera September books I had on my TBR, and I decided to start with Ethan of Athos by Lois McMaster Bujold. And I lasted about 3-4 chapters, and I bailed. The world building pissed me off. The writing, there's just something about 80s and 90s science fiction and fantasy style that I find off-putting. But here it was also the world building. For all of the extrapolation for the science and technology, could you please do a little bit with the society and culture? Please. And not necessarily be so obvious when you're sort of Xeroxing ancient history. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, I frustratingly bailed. And I might have a rant, or I might do a video on Space Opera Monday. Depends. So, from the bail, I decided to read some more fairy tale. So I read volumes 2 and 3 of Fairy Tale by Hiro Mashima, and I loved them. They were amazing. It's been too long since I've read fairy tale, and it really makes me want to actively start to collect manga again. And in fact, I have some space on the big bookcase my brother made for me to start there, and then I will eventually move to this headboard bookcase. But anyway, so in Volume 2, we start off where we left off in Volume 1. Lucy and Natsu are going on their first job together as a team, along with Natsu's companion, the winged cat Happy. Their job is to steal a book from the corrupt wizard aristocrat, Duke Everlew, and they succeed in their mission. And then from that successful mission, they return to the guild and Magnolia, and Urza Scarlet comes. She's this powerful, the strongest female wizard in fairy tale, and she's heard of a dark guild or an outlaw guild's plans, so she recruits Natsu and Gray to help her, and Lucy tags along. And so then for the rest of Volume 2 and all of Volume 3, it's basically fighting this darker, I think it should have been in the translation, outlaw guild Eisenwald, who were very big on assassinations before they were outlawed. And they're trying to strike back by committing several acts of terrorism. So Eisenwald's defeated, and then at the end, Natsu and Urza have a fight, which is interrupted, which is the cliffhanger for Volume 4, which I think I want to get to sometime soon, either Kindle Unlimited or hopefully maybe start to collect the physical copies. But I loved Fairy Tale. So then on Monday, I started Triton by Samuel R. Delany, and again, I don't know what it is, if I'm just out of patience or just really getting incredibly critical stylistically and also with the world building, but I got part of the way through and I wasn't interested, so I bailed. Although I might want to, I do want to revisit my bailing for this one and Ethan of Athos. So, and I'll touch on that at the end of this video. But again, the world building felt too sort of 1960s and 70s. It felt dated. And I think that is a recurring problem of science fiction, is that the world building can seem incredibly dated. And I mean, sometimes the writing, the character, the plot is enough to pull you through, but sometimes it isn't. And at least for me, I am very, very sensitive to feelings of being dated. So anyway, so I ended up despairing because I pretty much blew through what I had planned on reading this week, and then Steve Donahue saved the day with his favorite penguin tag. So for that tag, I did Clark Ashton Smith's The Dark Eidolon and Other Stories in this Penguin Classic edition. And I decided I've never read this particular edition. I mean, it's my favorite largely because it's Clark Ashton Smith and he is one of my favorite writers. And also because I have a pitiful Penguin Classic collection. I think I have like 5. I really need to work on adding to it, but that might be a 2021 bookish resolution if I make one. But anyway, so I decided to go ahead and read this particular collection, and I really enjoyed it. It kind of, I think, I ran out of steam towards the end. And I think some of the weaker stories are at the end, but I really enjoyed like the Telos Zeros, which is in another collection I had. The Last Incantation was really good. The Enchanted Isle, The Face by the River, The City of the Sinking Flame is amazing. The Holiness of Azadirach, The Devil Shadow, The Maze of the Enchanter, Genius Loki, The Dark Eidolon is amazing, absolutely. I think that's my favorite Clark Ashton Smith story. And then I the prose poems I didn't really care for a whole lot. And the poems I didn't particularly care for either. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Although I did notice, I'm not totally sure wine does what he describes wine doing in this book. It's like, anyway, might be something some literary critic ought to look at is wine in Clark Ashton Smith's work. But anyway, I really enjoyed The Dark Eidolon and Other Stories, and yeah, definitely it's now my favorite Penguin classic. So that leaves me with what I'm going to be reading this coming week. I think I'm going to hold off on Hamlet. I might try it if I have time next weekend, and we'll see about that. But for now, I have two options. I'm either going to start on, well, these will some either tomorrow or Monday when I finish. But anyway, I'm planning on either The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez for the BookTube Prize, maybe a more recent space opera will please me more than the older works, because so far all of the space operas I've read have been from the 80s or 70s. So maybe The Vanished Birds will work for me. And also, I really need to get to The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Largely because the sequel is coming out in November and I have it pre-ordered, and I really need to figure out whether or not I want to pick up the second volume instead of doing what I normally do and randomly buy series and then find out I don't actually like them, like I did with the sequels to The Tiger's Daughter. Anyway, but also because I have a very limited book budget, and there are quite a few other books I really want that are coming out in November too. So I want to make sure I really like this before I commit to picking up the second book in the series. And then if I have time to get Hamlet, hopefully Hamlet will reignite my love for Shakespeare. And also, I'll probably read some manga, maybe some more fairy tale, or something else too. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. There's a movie I'm wanting to watch that is coming on in about 10 minutes. TCM has a Ursula Andress day today, and they're going to be showing two of her movies. She, based on the novel of the same name by H. Rider Haggard, and the famous Clash of the Titans. So, I really want to watch them, and I'll report back on next Friday what I thought of them. So, until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great weekend, and please stay safe, and I will hopefully see you on Monday. And if not, I will definitely see you on Tuesday with the tag. Thank you, BookTube.